Previously, we said discounting is used to determine present value and compounding is used to determine future value. Now, present value of an amount of money. When we say present value, is the amount of money you are depositing today. So amount of money being deposited today is what we refer to as the what? The current or the present value of an amount. Now, the present value can be given as future value over where FV is our future value, our R is our interest rate, N is our period or our time. Now, what is the usefulness of present value? If I want to buy a car in 5 years and all other things being equal, let's say the value of that car is going to be 20,000 Ghana cedis in 5 years. This calculation is going to tell you the amount of money that you are to deposit each year or amount of money that you are to invest in order to get that 10,000 or 20,000 you need in the future. That is at the end of the 5 years to buy that your car. So that is present what value. Now we'll look at few examples so that we know how to compute for present value. Let's say we have this. You need 3,000 next year to buy a new computer. The interest rate is 8% per annum. That is yearly. How much money should you set aside? Should you set aside now in order to pay for the purchase? In order to pay for the purchase of the new computer. So you see, very, very simple question. So how much money should you set aside now? So you see, you are looking for the present value. And we say the present value is given as our future value over our discount factor. That is this. Mathematically, we can equally write this one as present. We can write it as future value is equal to present value 1 plus R raised to the power negative n. Mathematically, using the law of indices. This is just the same as this. Let's use this. You can equally use this. So our present value here is the future value is the amount of money you need in the future. That is it. So we have our 3,000 Ghana cedis. And our R is our interest, which is 8%, 8 over 100. And the N is the number of years. So how many years? 1 year. Since they didn't give us the number of years per annum, we assume 1 year. Okay. So we have our 3,000, 1 plus 0.08 is the power 1. That will give us 3,000. 1 plus this will give you 1.08 is the power 1, which is the same 1.08. So what do we have here? 3,000 divided by 1.08. And that will give us 2777.78. What does it mean? It means if I want to buy a computer worth 3,000 next year, and assuming the rate is 8%, then meaning I have to what do we call it? Invest 2,777.78 now, so that at the end of the next year I'll get that 3,000. That is the logic behind this calculation. Now let's consider another example. Number 2. Let's say Julie wants to know how large of a deposit to make so that the money will grow to 10,000 Ghana cedis in 5 years at a deposit of 10%. So you see, before you go and deposit or you embark on any investment policy in any bank, they will tell you their rate. So once you know the rate, you should be able to do your own calculation using this. And these are some real life formulas that we use in business finance, accounting, and then other financial sectors. So Julie wants to know how large of a deposit to make. So sika dodo say na say me de to sisi a say na be ya sika no at the end of 5 years no ebetimi enyi na be ye 10,000 Ghana cedis. Fa ne say sika no me de koto bank a omo deposit omo interest rate 10%. It's very, very simple. If I want to deposit in a particular bank, embark on an investment, I go and do my checks. Okay, let's say I want to do fixed deposit. I go to Car Bank. I'm a check it. Now interest rate here, okay, 5%. I go to Fidelity, okay, 8%. I go to maybe NIB, okay, 10%. Okay, let me go for NIB 10%. I need 10,000 Ghana cedis at the end of 5 years. I know say me save CCR, me invest CCR. It's a simple calculation. Into me invest sika na me jato at the end of 5 years. I may buy. I'm rest assured say me benya sika. That is it. So here our present value is 1. Your future value over 1 plus r raised to the power n. So future value, the amount of money you want your present value, the present value you are investing today to grow into. That is 10,000. So I have my 10,000 here, and then I have my R, 1 plus R, which is 10%, 10 over 100, and our time is 5 years. So we have our 10,000. Then 10 over 100 can be written as 0.1. Over 10 over 100, I will give you 0.1. So we have 10,000 over 1.1 raised to the power 5. So what do we have here? We have our 10,000 over bracket open 1.1 bracket close raised to the power 5. And that will give me 6209.21. What it means is, if I want to make 10,000 Ghana cedis, that is 100 million old currency, in 5 years' time, assuming I want to invest in a bank that is offering me a rate of 10%, then I have to invest 6,200 and what? 9.21 Ghana cedis now. As simple as that. So you see, it's one of the most important concept that we use in the financial sector, investment sectors, and then the rest. Now let's try our hands on our last question. Let's say we have this. You require 1,200 Ghana cedis in 5 years. You require 1,200 Ghana cedis in 5 years. If you earn 6% interest on your funds, how much will you need to invest? How much will you need to invest today in order to reach your savings goal? So you see, so some of these concepts, if you are in your 20s, you can use this one as your saving investment formulas. Let's say I want 1,200 in 5 years, assuming I am. So the interest rate is very, very important. That is why the bank that you want to invest in, you have to ask of their interest rate. Then you go in for the one that is offering you a better interest rate. That is why most time people always prefer fixed deposits, because you see there's a difference between treasury bill and fixed deposits. With the treasury bill, the rate that is being given, is not fixed. But with a fixed deposit, if the rate is 6% and you are doing it for 5 years, the whole of 5 years you are going to earn 6%, irrespective of what happens in a money market or like that is it. Okay. So our future value, our present value, is going to be future value over 1 plus r raised to the power n, where our future value is the amount of money I want in the future. That is 1,200. And this is the discount. Then the rate is 6%, 6 over 100 raised to the power how many years? 5 years. So I have 1,200 over 1 plus 0.06, because 6 over 100 is 0.06. 1, 2, 1, 2. So you see we have this 0.06. So we have 1,200 over 1.06 raised to the power 5. So let's do this on our calculator. What do we have here? 1,200 divided by bracket open 1.06 bracket close raised to the power 5, and that will give us 896.71. So what it means is, if I decide to invest 896.71 for 5 years, earning an interest rate of 6, then this is the amount of money I am going to get in the future. That is why you're going for a better interest rate. Just like we're doing the future value, we can equally solve this question using a table. That is the second method. So I'm going to use the second method to solve this same question. Then you can use it to try your hands on the question 2 and then the question 1. Now, same table, we have our period, that is our years. We have our cash flow. We have our discount factor. And then we have what we call our present value. So in some books, you will see this present value IF, meaning present value interest factor. So the present value, this interest factor. The interest factor is what do we call? So future value interest factor. This one times the interest factor. That is the discount factor. Now, what is our future value? That is the cash that we are expecting. The future value is 1,200. And how do we calculate our discount factor? Remember when we're doing present value, because future value formula is giving us present value plus, we said this is the discount factor for future value. But this time around, we are trying to calculate present value. So if the formula for present value is future value over 1 plus r, then the discount factor is this one. There is a 1 here multiplying this. So 1 over 1 plus r raised to the power n. So what? Our r is the rate, 6%, which is 6 over 100 raised to the power how many years? 5. So we have 1 over 1 plus 0.06. So we can put this in our calculator. So 1 divided by bracket open 1.06 raised to the power 5. And our discount factor is 0.7472. That is 73, 4 decimal. So 0.7473. Then we multiply this by this by this. So let's multiply. We have 12,200 times 0.7473, and that will give you 896.76. That is it. So you see the figure we are getting here is the same as this figure. So you can choose to use this table or you can use the formula. So in our next meeting, we'll look at how to calculate annuity, present value of annuity and future value of annuity. You know, when we say annuity, the series of payments that you have to make in order to reach a particular goal or an amount of money.